Welcome back to the K-Files. Today on the show, for Halloween Redux, we are investigating Stephen King's episode, Chinga. Welcome back to the spookified Lush Basement Office. We're doing Halloween Redux here at HollywoodRedux.com. All month long, we're theming across all of our content, Halloween stuff, horror. Here on the K-Files, we're investigating all of the scariest monsters, the most disgusting sequences, skin shower, today, we're talking about...
Hold on.
Oh, no, we'll get to the skin shower,
Exciting
don't worry.
stuff, guys, apparently.
It's the top of the class. Today, we're talking about Stephen King's episode of The X-Files, unfortunately titled Chinga.
Which is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. That's an X-Files episode.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an alternative.
Anyone who's Hispanic or, can read Spanish would know that.
Yeah, it's a naughty word in another language, so Stephen King did not know that.
Or maybe he did, and it's like...
It's pretty messed up to name
I do what I want.
That. Think about it. That's the doll's name, is Chinga.
Yeah,
so.
Okay, that doll, that was a very hard episode to watch. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it scared you?
Hey, I have a fear of dolls, and it took me a while to actually sit through the episode and go through the whole thing.
Yes, it's a episode of monster.
Yeah,
it's a monster. It's a monster of the week episode of the show.
It is
And
terrifying.
That is one of the scariest monsters on the show. Is that creepy talking doll that has that tinny voice that says all those creepy things. Don't play with matches. Ooh, haunts the dreams. And
Let's have fun was the most terrifying phrase I've ever heard. Within those 45 minutes of that episode.
Yes, very scary. And the horrors that appear in its wake are pretty scary too. All of that face clawing.
That was actually pretty gnarly though.
Yeah. That's weird. This month we are talking about all of the grossest stuff in the X-Files too, as part of Halloween Redux, and this is definitely one of those Mulder betrays his cool exterior moments.
Is there any way I can get off my fingers quickly without betraying my cool exterior?
He'll never get that goo off. It's always, no matter how many he washes his hands, how much he washes them. Yeah, that's gross, and there's lots of gross stuff. I mean, geez, Dave the Butcher putting the knife in his eye.
Dude, that was so freaking crazy, man.
Thank you to special effects makeup artist Toby Lindala for that indelible image.
Thumbs up, man.
Yeah. A lot of the crew were excited about working on a Stephen King project. Toby was one of them. He said that was, great for him to be creating, for example, the gag with the knife in the eye for a Stephen King story. Yeah.
Dude.
It was, yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to add to, like you said, especially them peeling, kind of. Luckily, we didn't get to see the peeling, but them actually clawing their skin where the eyes are, and then just the blood slowly dripping down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty intense, man. That was only the beginning of the episode. Yeah. That was the intro, guys.
Yeah, and then we had the hook through Polly's father's face, his accident at sea. Whoa, that was graphic. That's, 1998.
The props guy had a lot of fun, for sure. All those dudes.
Yeah,
nicely done,
guys.
guys.
The team was a well-oiled machine at that point in the 5th season here. Yeah, it was a 5th season, mid-5th season. And Stephen King... Yeah, Stephen King wanted to write an episode of the show. He did Celebrity Jeopardy with David Duchovny, and that was the first time he broached the subject. And then later he called Chris Carter, and they did it together. And Chris Carter got his screenwriting credit as well, because he ultimately, according to Kim Manners said, and kind of some other stories coming out of production, that basically Chris Carter had more of an involvement in the story than Stephen King himself, really, in this episode.
All right,
but I have no doubt that the horrors were Stephen King's.
Oh, well, of course.
Clawing and the hooks and
just
things.
Look at the episode that has Stephen King all over it, man.
Yeah, it's not a perfect episode for me. I think the thing that disappoints me about it the most is the story, actually, because it seems it's kind of just a sequence of horrific scenes. You're kind of just waiting for one horrible crowd death or mutilation, self-mutilation, like the girl getting her hair in the Milkshake machine. Oh, that is a nightmare. Stephen King nightmare.
What's up?
Boy, yeah, that's Mulder's just never gonna get that goop off.
I like this episode a lot. I thought it was a great, like, literally 45-minute, like, mini movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was very, very good.
Oh no, for sure. I love it too. The story disappoints me. I was about to say, I love it. Like I have a great time in it. And the story disappoints me in a couple of ways. Number one is that Scully goes on this vacation and she kind of makes a big deal about I'm on vacation. And so there are a couple of things happening with her character that she tells us. And then she meets this sheriff, and they kind of develop a rapport. They go eat that lobster together. Like it's kind of weird. There's some weird things in it.
By the way, that lobster looked really good, and I was a little jealous. I didn't have it.
Big lobster. Scully, did you like Scully was like, that's Jules Verne. I can't eat that. That's a sea monster. But no, so there were a couple of things going on in it that didn't really all add up for me in a meaningful way that meant anything. And then when she gets back, and also she's, for one of the first times on the show, she considers Mulder's perspective. She kind of, when Mulder calls, she kind of hangs up on him, and then she, for the sheriff, plays that part and literally suggests extreme possibilities.
Yeah, she kind of has to play Mulder and, like, Scully, both roles in this episode. It was very a Scully episode, to be honest.
No, she chooses to, because Mulder's bugging her. I love it, actually. I think their characters are really fun, even though that some of it isn't perfect.
Way to take a vacation, Mulder. Like, he's always in his office, just...
Oh, well, he misses her. He's bored without a case with Scully.
He's throwing up pencils, apparently.
That's his ceiling. Yeah. No, and, the other thing that doesn't really add up for me is that while I find the doll absolutely chilling, and I think all the stuff with the doll directly works for me, but what I didn't understand is why does Polly's mom, why does she see visions of those people dead before they die? I didn't understand what the rules of the doll were, I guess. It seemed like it was maybe... They kind of explain it. I mean, Scully kind of rattles off... Mulder kind of rattles off facts about that sort of thing to Scully. So you kind of get it out in the episode, but I don't know, for me it just didn't quite...
Well, there was that whole theory that she might have, like, been a witch, or she practiced witchcraft, but they never really...
Well, no, she didn't. The doll had
Just possession, right?
Had the occult in it. Yeah, the doll had the doll was a magical item that had this ability.
Terrifying. Magical item.
Polly, first of all, creepy kids. We rich tradition on the X-Files of creepy children, and Polly, the little girl character on the show, the actress who plays her, definitely belongs in that canon, alongside the little girls from Eve 6, the little clone girls, let's see, Invocation, little boys in that, creepy little boy in the Kali Shari.
Dude, that should be a podcast in itself. Let's just name all the creepiest kids.
I'm saying it's
rank them.
There's a long list of them to be celebrated, and this little Polly is definitely an addition to that canon that's frightening.
Dude, going back to the doll really quick, can I just say, if you find a doll that creepy, like fishing it out of the sea, maybe you should just throw it back. Maybe you should just, like, leave it alone and say, this is really creepy, and just, like, like, how he was so excited to give the doll to his kid. I'm like, why? It had bad signs all over it, dude.
Look, all I can tell you is the fact.
I'm sorry you died, but you kind of had it coming.
He was a fisherman. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't like know the rules of being in a horror movie.
But like, this true. But it was, that doll was so creepy. You just throw it back in the water, and all this would have been avoided. You know,
it's true. That's a good point.
Like,
good point.
But then we wouldn't have had an X-Files episode. So I guess it all works out. I guess. It's so creepy, dude. God.
Super creepy.
What a great episode.
Yeah, it reminds me, the little girl reminds me of, there's a Twilight Zone episode from the days of yore. Children Twilight Zone was a anthological TV show that had these really scary stories. There's a kid in that like could wish for anything and make it happen and he was like terrorizing this town. And just the way that Polly demands things. I want more, I want my records, I want my this.
Demands.
Oof, frightening. The Twilight Zone status for the X-Files. Let's see. So what else? Very scary. You know, it definitely
terrifying.
Succeeds on that level for sure.
Ridiculously terrifying.
And I wish that there was a little more. I love when you know, when Scully's away, that Mulder has no life and does insane things like bouncing the basketball on the table while he's talking to her. Like, it's like he devolves back to where he was before he met her, when she leaves him alone for longer than very much.
He falls
more
apart.
than, you know, a weekend. Yeah. Which is always wonderful. That's, you know, that's really the best part of the show for me, is the little interplay between the characters. I love when they have a phone relationship. Some of the episodes when they're apart and they have the, like, a phone relationship, like in the 7th season, that episode where Mulder investigates the, like, Crow murders. I forget the name of it. And they're apart and they have a phone relationship. That's really fun. It's like a different take on you get new colors on the characters. All right. Well, that is the case on Stephen King's episode of the X-Files, Chinga. And we're doing all spooky X-Files all October for Halloween Redux. So please stay tuned. Next week is going to be even grosser. Just wait. You'll see.
Grosser by the minute, man.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep. Squeeze. Cue the squeeze graphic. We're going to use the hell out of that.
Is there any way I can get off my fingers quickly without betraying my cool exterior?
I could get lost in that. All right. Well, we are doing Halloween Redux here on HollywoodRedux.com, which means all horror content all month long to celebrate Halloween. We're doing spooky episodes of the X-Files and very spooky gameplays on our video game podcast, IGL, and on the Writer's Room horror content, and we're giving away lots of free stuff. So click the link below to find out how you can win some free swag.
Free swag, guys.
To celebrate Halloween. I'm your host, Katie. You can find me at KMoles on all the social medias.
And I'm your co-host, Grizzly. You can find me at Grizzly on all social medias. And we're coming at you from HollywoodRedux.com, guys.
Yeah, thank you for watching. If you, speaking of Stephen King, if you liked the Stephen King episode of The X-Files, be sure to check out the video next door, which is our fan trailer for Stephen King's other scary clown story, It. So check that out, and join us next week for another investigation. The truth is already here.
Guys, subscribe, like. See you guys.
See you next week.